Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys called out for $29 million franchise tag prediction. If the Dallas Cowboys look within just their own division, they can see how NFL contracts should work by looking at the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a simple way of doing things. When the Eagles have a great young player on their roster, someone who obviously has NFL All-Pro talent, they try and pay them. Earlier the better. When they do this, they almost always come out on top in terms of savings. You get a bargain if you cough up the cash right when you know a player has that kind of upside. Waiting is always the ultimate killer. It kills the bottom line. It kills locker room morale. It kills any hope of winning Super Bowls. To that end, the Cowboys seem to always wait. And they always lose. Now, they're being put on blast for a report from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler that says the franchise is contemplating a $29 million franchise tag for wide receiver George Pickens. The Cowboys obtained Pickens on May 7th in a trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers, getting Pickens and a 2027 sixth-round pick in exchange for a 2026 third-round pick and 2027 fifth-round pick. Fowler has Pickens ranked as the number 4 overall free agent in the 2026 cycle. Pickens is in the final season of the 4-year, $6.75 million rookie contract he signed in 2022. The Pickens experiment in Dallas has gone swimmingly, Fowler wrote this week. He is pacing for 1,400+ yards and more than 10 touchdowns as the ideal counterpart to CeeDee Lamb. His immense talent, and the number of teams starved for receiver help, will drive his value. Pickens' results with capable quarterback play around him are undeniable. The franchise tag, which would be around $29 million, could be a backup option for Dallas. To say the reaction to the Cowboys possibly franchise tagging Pickens was not favorable would be an understatement. The smart thing to do, at this point, would be to try and lock Pickens into a long-term deal, think something along the lines of a 3-year, $90 million contract extension. The backlash from the franchise tag report didn't focus solely on calling out the Cowboys either. It also pointed out, like Fowler wrote, there are a lot of teams who would kill to have Pickens on their roster. George Pickens is one of my top free agent targets for the Bills, Bills report wrote on its official X account on November 12. Pickens has 764 yards on 49 receptions, and 6 touchdowns to go with that. At just 24 years old, Pickens would likely be looking for a big 4-ish-year deal. If you want a wide receiver one, he is tough to pass on. Letting George Pickens walk would be malpractice, Sleeper Cowboys wrote on its official X account. George Pickens has proven to be everything the Cowboys hoped he'd be when they traded to acquire him, and the consummate team guy is eager to do whatever's needed for the unit, as a whole, to dominate ops, Cowboys.com's Patrick Walker wrote on his official X account. Cowboys starter gets bad news amid roster shakeup. When the Cowboys next take the field, on Monday night against the Raiders, the team will look significantly different than it did the last time it played, on Monday night in Week 9, a frustrating loss to the Cardinals. Quinnen Williams will be on the defensive line. Logan Wilson will be at linebacker and, most likely, DeMarvion Overshown will be next to him. Williams and Wilson arrived in Dallas after a busy flurry at the trade deadline. Overshown is finally back after a lengthy rehab from last year's knee surgery. One player who won't be on hand, though, is starting safety Wanya Thomas, who had missed 2 weeks before returning for the Cardinals' loss. While moving Overshown and rookie defensive back Siobhan Revel to the active roster, the Cowboys moved Thomas to injured reserve as he deals with migraines. Thomas will have to miss 4 weeks. Wanya Thomas' injury adds to Cowboys' struggles at safety. The Cowboys are always thin at safety, with Malik Hooker still out because of a toe injury and Donovan Wilson out because of a knee injury. There's hope that Wilson could be back for the game against the Raiders, though. On a defense that has struggled in general, the safeties have been among the biggest sore spots for the Cowboys, who did well to improve their front recently but are still undermanned on the back end. At 47.8, Wilson grades as the 82nd safety of 91 ranked safeties at Pro Football Focus. Because of injuries, Marquise Bell has been pressed into more action, too, in the last 3 weeks, and he rates 88th out of 91 safeties with a 42.3 grade. Hooker was not expected to play against the Raiders, but during a radio appearance this week, Cowboys VP Stephen Jones raised the possibility of that happening. Hooker was put on IR in early October with a toe injury he suffered during the Cowboys' Week 4 tie with the Packers. Getting Hooker back is going to be a big deal, Jones said during an interview with 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. Indeed, if Hooker is healthy, then the Cowboys have even more reinforcements than originally expected. Steelers cut former Super Bowl champion, Cowboys amid potential suitors. After signing cornerback Asante Samuel Jr., the Pittsburgh Steelers will cut safety Juan Thornhill, who has only spent 1 season with the team. It's no surprise that the Steelers made the sudden release since the team was making room in their 53-man roster for Samuel. Barring any circumstance in which a team claims Thornhill off waivers, the veteran will become a free agent and become the second-best safety available in the market, right behind Justin Simmons. Given that the Steelers traded for former Patriot safety Kyle Duggar, the writing was on the wall already for Thornhill, and since joining the team, Duggar has been eating most of the snaps alongside starter Jalen Ramsey. Thornhill worked most of the time with special teams, but it couldn't compensate for his stay with the team, as the Steelers felt like they could use the next man up to take over. The 30-year-old is quickly at a point in his career where he will likely take a situational role to get himself back on track since he started 1 of 9 games this season. Thornhill isn't going to garner much interest, but he should be able to get a job as a backup for a team. The safety has Super Bowl experience during his time with Kansas City since coming off the board in 2019, so here are 4 teams that could sign him. The Cowboys need a new safety in the worst way possible. After trading for Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson, the team is not looking to tank even though they're 3-5-1. Despite the Eagles continuing to win and now 7-2, the Cowboys should sign Thornhill to give Donovan Wilson and Wanya Thomas some insurance policy in that group. As much as this offense has been on fire, they can't afford the opportunity to go to waste when you have a depleted secondary.